I'm gonna be honest, Ishmael, that's a horrible outfit for sailing. You're just gonna sink to the bottom of the ocean. Hey, welcome back to more Limbus Company. I'm SlayerMathis, and last time we got our plan for how we're going to reach the Pallid Whale's Heart, and this time we will be starting to implement that plan at least a little bit. Yeah, I guess we'll just grab a slightly under-leveled Diechi Merceau. Only slightly under-leveled, it's not bad. Ishmael stares wordlessly at Keycag. I thought everyone died. Me too. I also thought you did. Where I was, we buried dead people. No burning. In earth, in hearts, deep, never to dig up again. Because we have to forget. Did you bury me too? I want to see sunset again. That keeps me going. Breathing. Throwing up wounds. I thought you didn't like the outside world. Sunset's always warm, wherever it sets. I hear a terrifying cry coming from far away. It's the mermaid's cry. Our future, if we fail to escape. Cry and cry, trying to kill all we see. Then melt, very slowly, and later float away, like we were never here. Don't want to be mermaid. The pallid whale. Have to kill it. Only then we get out. I see another vision of Ishmael. It's growing more and more frequent. Maybe it's the influence of the golden bough. Crying. Every night, terrifying cry echoes from the holds. Pip, it's your turn to go down there. The mermaid cries every single night. I have to lock them deep in the holds. Pip doesn't want to go down there. It's scary. Just look at your jaw, Pip. I'm sorry, but you gotta accept it. Isn't it weird, Keycag? Why are we doing any of this? Ishmael, steel yourself. You'll see Pallid Whale soon. Which means it's all be over. Soon. Yeah, it'll all be over soon. So when this voyage is over... What is this mess? Cannot even man your stations properly, you deckhands! Captain, Pip doesn't want to go down there. Pip's scared to death. It's so scary down there. Every night Pip hears. Every night he scratches at the locked door. Get a hold of yourself, Pip. That's just a mermaid. Pip knows. Pip saw that was our main stub, Captain. The Pallid Whale ate stub in the boat he was on, and... Pip, turn away from the sound of the holds. Look far beyond to the Great Lake. The Pallid Whale's day of reckoning draws near. The louder the mermaid cries, the closer we are to our goal. That creature will lead us to the Pallid Whale. That night, I snuck into the Captain Ahab's quarters. To enter the captain's quarters unauthorized was like breaking taboo. Every sailor knew that. If I was caught, I would have had to accept whatever punishment they decided to levy upon me for committing a sin that may as well have been a mutiny. But I know what I was thinking when I walked in there. Captain Ahab, Captain? Captain's eyes were locked on the map of the Great Lake, stuck to the ceiling of our quarters. He did not stir. I looked at the sight for a moment before stumbling out of the captain's quarters. I had to. So I went to the captain's quarters, huh? Mr. Starbuck. Cap never gets proper shut-eye. Even when she sleeps with her eyes wide open. She's always looking for that Pallid Whale somewhere in the Great Lake, even as she dreams. Got mine sleeping. She's awake, always is. Yeah, on the pet guard, the captain had a tight leash around us, merely gasping at what little air she could us. Go and get some rest. The captain said the whale's got to be close. I don't always understand the captain, and sometimes I wish he'd entertain some different ideas. But we won't have to suffer much more of that. We'll all be free soon. Once we kill the Pallid Whale, leave the ship, Again, I mentioned this last time. I feel like I'm starting to get a handle on my voice for everyone except for Don. Again, my Don is just like, just a little off, I think. Okay. I think my Don voice worked fine for what it was when she was never really all that serious. But since we are past the point of, we're now at the point where we do have very serious story stuff going on. It's a little bit more difficult to come up with I haven't really had the chance to quite workshop a Don voice that isn't really, that still fits. I know I'm going to need to find something for Canto 7 because there are some especially hype moments in... I mean, obviously, you know, as you get further and further within a game, the hype moments become more hype. So, Kanto 7 has quite a few. So I'll be able to have a good voice for that. Soon after setting sail. Whoa! Started hearing something shaking underneath the ship. What's that? Forsooth, there may be a foe underneath our ship, scratching. It's ominous. We should check it out. We double check. We do want our ego gifts. Just a moment. Give me a moment to find it on the wiki. Cause I wanna see the wiki. Okay. We're going to check it underneath the ship. Of course we should. So we decided to check underneath the boat. A powerful shock rocked the stern of the boat. Mermaids hostile to climb from the bottom of the ship. The mermaids are lost by having one of us go push them off the ship before they latch on. As soon as I was inside, two sinners jumped from their seats and approached me. I'll go executive manager. No, I'm better suited for this task. The two sinners began bickering. Send someone fearless. Ishmael has a +5 modifier. Otis also has a +5 modifier. I wonder who those two sinners are. And I believe if we specifically pass this with Ishmael... Yeah. Since I chose to prepare for the task, the sinner ran and smashed the mermaid's head in. At least the mermaids waste any more of our time. The impact of the strike caused something to fall from the mermaid. It's an LCCB employee badge, just like the one Pilot was wearing. It's awful, but we have to keep moving. We also get the... So, no matter who passes, you will get the melted LCCB employee's badge. But if you specifically pass with Ishmael, you also get the Desperate's Knot. LCCB badge, pretty simple. Minus 10% pride damage taken. Desperate's Knot. Okay. You're not getting this. 6 resonance. Again, it says 6+. You can only ever access 6 in this fight. I don't know why it says 6+. Because this isn't in Mirror Dungeon or anything. But 10% damage with Envy, Wrath, and Gloom. That is actually pretty nice for us because we do have quite a bit of Gloom. We're a sinking team after all. So, makes sense that we have a lot of Gloom. We also have a decent bit of... I mean, we have a decent bit of everything. Well, not everything, but Gloom especially. You know, something I actually did forget about with the 6+ resonance is normal encounters, because you progressively gain more and more skill slots. We're into a narrow waterway of sorts. Yes, your manager. See mermaids swimming under the ship. Mermaids lash onto the walls and are glaring at us. This place, hard to steer. Steer and keep track of direction. Hard to do at once. So we'll have to keep track of the directions. Once again, Ishmael and Otis both have +5s. Okay. So, we will actually hold up. Just a moment. Okay. We do want to use Ishmael eventually, but not right away. This is a guaranteed win for Otis. Left. We're supposed to 3. We look opening at 2 o'clock. These Otis' quick and clear directions. We're making quick work of the waterways. So into them, huh? But the horde of mermaids attacking our ship doesn't seem any smaller than it did when we first entered. Exit. Still far. For numero dos, we have... just want to make sure that I'm on the correct one. Yes. Okay, so for this one, you do want to pass this as well. There we go. Go straight. Right, now hard right rudder. Thanks to Heathcliff's quick and clear directions, we're making quick work of the waterways. Now into them, huh? But the horde of mermaids attacking our ship doesn't seem any smaller than it did when we first entered. Almost there. We escape soon to next area. We're almost there. This one we want to do with Ishmael. I don't like that it's not guaranteed or not fully high. Alright, Ishmael. Whew! Starting up. Wait, there's a drop. Steady as you go. One more rocks ahoy. Left 10 degrees rudder, steady, and right full rudder. Thanks to Ishmael's quick and straightforward directions, we managed to lose the mermaids and escape the waterway. Ben wants to be done something like this together. Remember? Starbuck on helm. Me shouting at Starbuck. Yeah. It was covered with blood and oil of a mermaid killed in the waterway. These useful, but them unbearable. The boat smooth sailed for the next area as we spent our time collecting mermaid oil from the ship. So much that the deck was almost flooded with it. The mermaid oil, and we also get the crossed knot. You get the crossed knot any time that you have Ishmael do it. However, specifically if you do it with... Okay, well actually, I could have done any order, but you get the mermaid oil for passing this. Doing any of them with Ishmael gets you the crossed knot, but I just wanted to do both at once. Because I'm special, not because I didn't read the whole thing. Mermaid oil does nothing for us, we're not a Tremor team, but this one, more than your 15% of your max HP is lost, gain 2 attack power up. This actually can be useful for certain identities that have like a lot of self-healing. Mostly I would think like Priest of La Mancha and Gregor, I think would be the main one that comes to mind immediately that does a lot of self-damage. That, not mermaid, not whale. Monster from outskirts. The official denomination is abnormalities. The ones contained within the lobotomy corp branch, but the whales devoured them. I saw similar things before, but not abnormality. Different. Yes, indeed. In the outskirts, anything is within the realm of possibility. I find it credible that you may have encountered similar entities in the outskirts. Abnormalities. Born how? They were once human. These have been created by humans as a source of new energy. They are wishes, looks like. Most of the abnormality have specific wants or desires, yes? Yes. They know what they want. What they desire. What they wish. Well, it's like what wants and desires are all they have left. Must be nice. Knowing what you want. Knowing what you desire. Tika was ceaselessly scratching at her arm as her eyes remained fixed on the abnormalities. She was scratching so hard the blood and pale gunk were starting to seep from her torn skin. Tika, stop, you're bleeding. Still doing that, huh? Born again. Cocoon. Couldn't become one. We get the Ambling Pearl. We have fought the Ambling Pearl before in our Mirror Dungeon run. But, you know, not guaranteed that people have seen that. Ambling Pearl is, again, as I mentioned during that, a pretty easy abnormality. It has a lot of defenses on its shell. Shell has a passive that I think reduces damage by like 30% or something like that. So it's fairly significant, but as a whole, Ambling Pearl is something that I've never had difficulty with. You can largely ignore its gimmicks, mainly in the form of the little slime balls that'll pop out in just a moment. Yeah, the green slime, you can kind of just ignore them. And you can just like fight the shell to stagger it. That'll open up the pearl to also be staggered, I think. Or something of that sort. Again, I'm never really that worried about Ambling Pearl. It's, in my opinion, one of the easiest abnormalities in the game to deal with. I would say Fairy Gentleman is easier. I think Fairy Gentleman is a joke. I love Fairy Gentleman. He's a goober, and we love the big goofy goobers, but he's just not that difficult. So yeah, pop open the shell to get at the prone side. I Another one of the big gimmicks with it is the poison, but like it's so minute, so minuscule. It's super easy to deal with. As in, like, you can just kind of ignore it for the most part. Oh, that's some nice gloom resonance. Let's go and fight the Poil. Damn. Damn. Highly tragic. Oh man, if I Dullahan, we would have been golden. Oh well. And it closely appears to be a gem of sorts, born after a long, long time of waiting, born in the ebb and flow with the filth that fills and leaves that thing with its every movement. Taking its gem would be equivalent to taking its reason for existence away. It may fall apart without it. Who will take its meaning away? Well, Ishmael, you're the only one that has, like, any chance. Damn. Before we restore the twinkling light, the green slime, the acidic burning sensation, the writhing lava, all of it unnerves the sinner. Despite that, Ishmael prevails, claiming the gem with her hands. An incomprehensible roar echoes. It quickly regenerates something new in its maw, but it won't be the same. It is kind of shitty that it's a guaranteed sanity loss with that, but oh well. There we go. Staggered Pearl. We'll do a lot of damage now. We could have done more damage if we were in negative coin Roja, but whatever. It's not that big of a deal. I will say, we are taking more damage from the poison than I would have expected, but it still isn't much, like, at all. I'm still so not concerned with Ambling Pearl. Again, poison is just Library of Ruin, a burn. End of turn, it deals the potency worth of damage and then halves itself. In combat, the Ambling Pearl does buff up, or just like it does kind of constantly ramp up how much it's doing. Come on. Ah well. Shocking, that's our first Magic Arcana. And that's the shell too. 59 damage. Oh, really? Alright. 59 damage to shell is pretty good. Oh dear. Huh. Huh. They appear to have been staggered. Well, if we roll all heads. See? Not a problem whatsoever. We didn't even need to roll all heads. Actually, I think we did. We just ended up doing more damage in the end. But, no, we might have been able to hit tails on that. Kikeg? What are you doing? Kikeg used to spend some nights in crushing loneliness and unbearable pain. Kikeg sat in a corner of the dark, dark room. She looked down at her arms. Then with the small dagger she used for cutting harpoon ropes, she mercilessly tore into her arms like she was carving something into her flesh. Mrs. Price appeared closer. Her body was covered with countless strange tattoos. Over them were scars of old and gnashed wounds, as cut as though to hide the tattoos drawn on her skin. Did you do that yourself? I did. But why? Because of shame. Because of the tattoos. I engraved them myself. Kikeg, don't do this. Go look for a place that can erase your tattoos. There's gotta be one out there at one of the nets, so stop hurting yourself like this. My tattoos, tattooed in a special way, so no normal way to erase. And even if there is, I won't erase like that. Why? Why? No way to be free from past. On a whaling ship, any discussion with the crew's past was an unspoken taboo. Whalers were often running from their pasts, wanted to wash their past away in the waves, or threw themselves against the waves in their desperate need for money. Ishmael, you already knew. I come from the middle. I had a hunch when I saw your tattoos. The middle never forgets. Everyone on the back streets knows the story. It might be just one of those tall tales, not tales someone can so casually laugh off. Once a child went to a stranger and spilled ice cream on his clothes. Stranger, whose clothes were spoiled, comforted the crying child and sent him home on his way. That stranger was an officer of the middle, and the spoiled clothes happened to be his favorite set. The day was the last day anyone, including the child, ever saw the child's family. Maybe it's just dark humor. Maybe it's one of those countless, baseless urban legends, but no one dares treat a tale like that, like it is. Because the middle really was like that. But the middle I've heard of... I know the middle accepts anyone to their full, but I've heard that once you're a part of the middle, they never let you go. Yes, the middle remembers. The middle never forgets. Never. So, can't leave. They captured me. They said to me, to really leave, erase everything of the middle from me. If not, they catch me again. My tattoo was the middle's brand, so I cut up the brand. Have to. My speech, also touched by middle, so went to doctor to cut up my tongue, to cut up my brain, to break myself. And I ran. Again. Even after you lost your speech, even after you cut up your whole body to erase your tattoos, they're still coming after you? It's too high a price. Not true. Back then I was a maggot. You're being too hard on yourself. It was just a metaphor crawling in filth, thinking filth was everything. Thought filth was the world. Thought I knew the world. They wanted me to make me big sister. So I killed, and killed, and killed. Not because of orders. Killed with my own hands. Because I wanted to. Because I wanted respect as big sister. No. We're all still in our cocoons. So we won't break out of the shells to be born again, okay? Born again. Yeah, once this voyage is over, let's go find it together. Way to break out of our cocoons. Oh, I don't know. That's why I want to find it with you, together. This is first time. First time I heard Ishmael saying you don't know. So I started looking beyond this voyage. Cracking port. Gonna be the home of my very own seafood grill joint. Fired up a nice place on our last voyage, you know? I'm just copying that one popular place from Harlem Port. Alright. People want to be rich. People want to be rich. People want to be a landlord. Landlords make a ton of money, you know? I've got laws on you, kid. Give me a dishwasher. See how I scrape through all this shit. No, Starbuck. You rent Pip's building, and you better pay rent on time. My first mate badge don't make crap, you guys, does it? People wanted to bury their pasts. People living from one day to the next without dreams, without futures. People like me. Between every close call, between every moment of triumph amidst the brutal trials we endure in solidarity, began to sketch the rough pictures of our futures. I sketched something for myself, too. That sketch. I'm walking with Kluke in some small port shrouded in mist and the smell of fish. Maybe we're holding large textbooks in our hands, or maybe we're carrying suspiciously well-maintained weapons. Maybe we're just heading somewhere with our hands full of tasty treats for the day. And we kept sketching. How we will continue to live out the rest of our days. How we'll persevere. Here, Ishmael stared boredlessly into her shimmering reflection, into rippling and opaque river of acid surrounding the boat. Just as she stared into the lake back for Mephistopheles, her expression was so solemn and withdrawn that I couldn't bring myself to even approach her. In the opaque waters, Ishmael saw herself, her future that now rested forever out of reach, at the cold abyss of the lake. Her friends who could never return. How would it feel to know that your dreams will never come true? I was too absorbed in this hazy, ruminating thought to realize that I approached Ishmael and struck up a conversation. Ishmael, once this whole ordeal is over and we go back to Mephistopheles, she turns around. How about we all go get ice cream together? You know, the one Don Quixote wanted. It won't matter whatever future I bring up with Ishmael now. None of it will reach her. So, the most I could offer her now was a hopeful immediate tomorrow. Something a little closer than the future that Ishmael's trying to work so hard to take back. Go back? And what will you do, manager, if I told you I don't want to go back? What do you mean? Once we destroy the heart, once I squeeze the life out of Ahab with my own two hands. What would I go back to? Why would I go on? Is that an official resignation request? No, forget it. If Ishmael finally gets what she wants, what's next? Will there even be anything left? Is it even right for me to ask her to continue on to the next? I love Canto 5 so much. Oh shit, we do get Sticky Muck. Neat. I love Canto 5 because, like, again, I mentioned it before, the prose is so good on it. And, like, I do think that this is probably the best prose. There's not I mean, like, the game does... I would say has a little bit less prose overall. There's a lot more dialogue in some later cantos. But, like, it's just fucking so good here. I love Ishmael as a character. After defeating the abnormality, we sailed for a while without incident. That was when a wall, a thick, solid wall appeared before us. Artery beyond this wall. Wall is open, closes. The opening is very short. Don't get grabbed by mermaid there. Chopped in half if grabbed by mermaid. With a heavy rumble, the wall immediately started to open. Keep mermaids off ship. They slow us down, we get cut in half. The mermaids must have sensed the rumbling. They began rushing at our ship. Once again, Ishmael has a +5 bonus, as does Otis. Ishmael takes the vanguard, knocking the mermaids off the boat. Good enough. Made it through. Don't get complacent, we have to remain alert. Wall's twitching like it's about to... Not a second after the stern of our boat made it past the door, the door slams shut. Keep moving to the artery. For completing with Ishmael, we get the compulsive knot. Oh, holy shit, that's so good for us. Oh my god, that is so good. Well... Yeah, we can keep going for a little bit longer. I have no idea how long this will be because of the cutout stuff. Oi, your headband. It's all knocked up with blood. That's alright, so if I'm looking at it. Something a quick wash in the water can't fix. Your headband. Familiar. Familiar knot. Desperate knot. Key keg. I survived by hanging onto the ropes you tied to your coffin. Ropes that you could have held. Instead, I held onto it with my dear life. That rope. Also for you. Want me to bucket out oil from in there? Yep. Not as hard as it looks, though. The cadaver of a whale hung from a hook and swayed from side to side. The stench was awful. The smaller and more nimble you are, the easier it'll be. Not that small, though. It's a job for great holds anyways! This talk, more oil bucketing! Get on with it, will ya? Whale's toil does not end with killing the whale. Whalers just have to bucket and carry the inordinate amounts of oil from the dead whale. I mean, how the hell do I know what's in there? Well, what do you think? Whale oils! It feeds us, keeps us warm! What the packet was a man named Stealth, the second mate. His man of irritable disposition. I can't. To that abyss on nothing but a rope that looks like a snap from a slight breeze, I can't. Those words nearly escaped from my mouth when... What are you doing? A rope. Tied to my wrist. But why? Tethered like so. Now if you fall, I fall. You, me, together. My senses were stuttering and incomplete. There was something there that oddly soothed me. Together. Someone to catch me if I fell. Someone to watch over me if I fell. So I tied one at the rope to Key Keg's waist and the other on mine. Funny how I should mention that. The rope was too short, too flimsy. It immediately snapped. I sent hurtling down to the lard-filled belly of the whale. It was harder to bear than the entrails, the viscera, the oil, and various other things I didn't want to think about. It was a pitch-black darkness. Whale oil makes a sound as it quivers and reverberates. Reverberating oil tries to become one with everything it touches. Some city folk talk about this phenomenon using big words like ultra-vibrofusion, oscillation frequency. How such elements are used to produce resonance tuning forks, their wavelengths, and fuel. But the point is, a whale's oil covers and devours anyone it comes into contact with. When you're devoured by a living whale's oil, you become a mermaid. When you're devoured by a dead whale's oil, your sense of self slowly scatters until there's nothing of you left. It's when I realized how tiny and fragile I was. How insignificant of a thing I was. Maybe the whales were just lonely. And that's why they carried within them the oil that had the power to turn others just like them. Maybe people are the same. Out of loneliness, we want to make someone, ours. Paint them just like us to fill them with the things that make us. I don't even know what makes me. How could I possibly paint others like me if I don't even know what I am? Maybe I'm shallower than a whale. I, who boarded the peck out just because I wanted to live a life unlike those of others. Just because living a humdrum life was too boring for me. What do I even want? In the dark, where the distinction of all things begin to blur, I saw light. A ray of light scattered through an opening. I saw a rope drop from there. A rope lowered from the heavens into this dark, lonely abyss. This rope. I wanted to hold on to this rope and live. Because it was there right before me. Rope! Hold tight! Man, died in that oil, and I would have been left nothing for nobody to remember. Yeah, I almost died one of the most meaningless deaths in the city. I was born again that day, maybe. The rope I held onto that day was a rope that can never be severed. That rope, it snapped. No, it can. We can make it whole again. We'll tie another knot as long as we can make it onto the. As long as we can make it to the heart, you'll be free. Once we trapped here, I had to think only one thing only. Not become mermaids. Doubting, hesitating, and pale begins to grow on skin. You know, like whale oil. I thought one thing, to meet you again, to go on a new adventure with you. I have to escape. I have to kill the whale. But to do that I had to cut the rope. Don't become a mermaid, I think that one thought. I think that one thought again, and suddenly, I buried you. The whale heart. To kill it, I put my heart to sleep. Like I said, I love the prose in this so much. And, like, prose also counting, like, the narration within flashbacks and whatnot. Okay, cool. But, yeah, it's just good, isn't it? We're gonna have an unopposed attack, which sucks, but oh well. Now, I also love the relationship between Kike and Ishmael. Like, obviously, it's not explicitly stated that they're lovers or anything like that. But the beautiful thing about Project Moon's writing, and just writing in general, is that if you are someone who has those feelings, then it can apply to you. Maybe they were actually meant to be in a relationship. I mean, it's more likely than not from the way that things are written, but, like, technically we don't know for sure. But the fact that you do have this relationship where, like, it's not even, you know, mentioned that, you know, we were two girls that we just loved being by each other's side. Because they didn't need to. What they needed to do is just, hey, we wanted to care about each other, so we did. But the fact that, like, again, you have this kind of message of, like, you need to have something to hold on to. You need to have something that makes you, to say it a little bit more melodramatically. But you need to have something that kind of makes your purpose in life. And if that's, you know, whether that's someone, something, who knows? Obviously, they're going to get more into depth with it later on in the campaign. But already just seeing a little bit of that is, it's like a really nice thing to see. Because, again, like, this PM's writing is super good. And I love the relationships that they make between their characters. Like, obviously, it's one thing to, like, have the characters in general, but to have such believable relationships, not only between your main cast, but, you know, the main cast and other characters outside of said main cast, immaculate. Okay, well, there's a rest spot there, so we'll get to that before ending things. Well, okay, it'll just be this, and then, like, resting. The second atrium the captain mentioned. Center of the heart that once we get past here, huh? Kike approached me. Your name, I know. They call you Dante. Yeah, that's my name. They call me Dante. Your words, can't hear. Like whale voices, like mermaid voices. You bring back dead crew. Yeah, I guess that's all I do. But not just body death. Heart death, too. Heart? I couldn't help but be confused by what Kike said. Unless she's talking about an actual heart, and I never had any powers like that. You never told me that I did either. You don't make them lose way. Their way, where they really want to go. You tell them with your clock sound. Dante, something I wish. I want Ishmael to find her way. Like I said. And they were roommates. Very quick fight in there. Again, like, I don't mind these, like, having some filler fights, as long as you have some story with it. But, regardless, that will do it for this time. And next time, I think we'll have the... I'm pretty sure we'll end up fighting the most painful abnormality in the game. It's not this one, I don't think. I think it's the next boss encounter. But regardless, until then, see you guys later.